Imagine a man so wealthy that entire nations felt the tremor of his generosity, a king whose journey across the desert shook the medieval world. And yet, today, his name is nearly forgotten. This is the extraordinary story of Mansa Musa, the Emperor of Mali, the richest man to ever walk the earth. In the early 1300s, the sun rose over the vast savannas and river valleys of West Africa, illuminating a land brimming with life. Along the banks of the great Niger River lay the mighty Mali Empire, a realm of wealth and wisdom, of gold and trade, of cities bustling with scholars, merchants, and travelers. To the outside world, Africa beyond the Sahara was a mystery, a blank canvas on medieval maps. But here, in the heart of the continent, a civilization flourished, rich in resources and culture, and soon to be ruled by a man whose name would travel across the world. Mansa Musa did not inherit his throne in the usual way. In 1312, the previous emperor, Abu Bakr II, set out on an ambitious journey across the Atlantic, obsessed with discovering what lay beyond the western horizon. He sailed with hundreds of ships into the unknown and never returned. And so, Mansa Musa, a devout and visionary man, rose to the throne. Little did the world know that this humble king would soon become a legend whose wealth surpassed imagination. The Mali Empire at that time was already a force to be reckoned with. Its wealth came from gold, pure, abundant, and unrivaled. The mines of Bambouk and Bouré poured riches into the empire's hands, and the world's craving for gold made Mali indispensable to global trade. But gold was not the only treasure. Salt, as valuable as gold in the medieval world, flowed from the Saharan mines into Mali's markets, where it was exchanged for gold, ivory, and other goods. Caravans of camels, stretching for miles, carried these riches across the unforgiving Sahara to the cities of North Africa, where traders from Europe and the Middle East marveled at the wealth of the southern kingdom. Mali was not a hidden land. It was a powerhouse, and its new king understood its potential. Mansa Musa was not a king who hoarded wealth. He was a ruler of vision, a man of faith and intellect. In 1324, he would make a decision that would transform his life and his empire's place in history. He would embark on the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca, the Hajj, fulfilling his duty as a Muslim and demonstrating the power and piety of Mali to the entire Islamic world. But this was no ordinary journey. What followed would become the most extravagant pilgrimage in history. Imagine the sight: 60,000 men marching across the desert, 12,000 slaves dressed in the finest silks, and 80 camels carrying over 300 pounds of pure gold each. The desert winds carried the sound of drums and chants as the golden caravan snaked across the sands. When Mansa Musa reached Cairo, the world took notice. His generosity was boundless. He gave gold to the poor, to merchants, to rulers, and to anyone in need. He spent and gifted so much gold that the value of the precious metal in Egypt plummeted. Inflation gripped the region for over a decade, all because of a single man's pilgrimage. Stories of this mysterious African king rippled across the known world. Arab chroniclers recorded the spectacle in awe, and European mapmakers, hearing of his golden empire, began to mark Mali on their maps for the first time. For centuries, Africa had been a blank space to them. Now it had a name, and that name was wealth. Yet Mansa Musa's journey was not only about gold. He returned to Mali with scholars, architects, and artisans from across the Islamic world. His vision was to transform his empire into a beacon of knowledge and faith. Timbuktu, already a trading hub, blossomed into a center of learning. Mosques rose from the desert sands. Libraries were filled with manuscripts, and students traveled from far and wide to study under the great scholars Mansa Musa brought to his land. The Jingwereber Mosque, built by the famed architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, still stands today as a testament to his reign. Under his leadership, Mali became not just wealthy, but wise. His influence reached far beyond his lifetime. Timbuktu became known as the City of 333 Saints, and it held one of the largest collections of books in the medieval world, rivaling many European cities. Knowledge, faith, and culture thrived, all nurtured by a king who saw beyond the fleeting allure of gold. And yet, as history has taught us, no empire, no matter how glorious, is eternal. Mansa Musa died around 1337, leaving behind an empire at its zenith. His successors, however, lacked his vision and strength. Gradually, the empire fractured under the weight of internal strife and the shifting tides of trade. Rival powers rose, the Saharan routes changed, and the once unshakable Mali Empire began to fade. The golden caravans stopped, the scholars dispersed, and the winds of the Sahara slowly reclaimed the cities that had once dazzled the world. Today, Mansa Musa's name lives on in whispers and fragments, in manuscripts, maps, and legends. The man who held more wealth than any king or emperor in history is now a ghost of the past, his story buried under the sands of time. And yet, his legacy is a reminder of the rise and fall of empires, of the fleeting nature of power, and of how time ultimately humbles even the mightiest of kings. Mansa Musa was not just a man of gold. He was a man of vision, of faith, of knowledge, a bridge between Africa and the wider world. His empire may be gone, but his story endures, a story that will forever belong to the echoes of history